Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salamu rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Catherine Jones, CEO and founder of the Back to the Future Mentoring Academy, and here I am at the top of Mount Lofty, and I am coming live to you. I only just got to the top probably about 3 or 4 minutes ago, and so I'm showing you in my hot red state of how I am and at the top because I wanted to share with you the lessons I learned from this climb. Every single time we climb Mount Lofty, we learn something about ourselves, something about our psychology, and the lesson today was very much about our wisdom over our mind, over our body. So when my son came back from army training, he told me that the body, the mind gives up before the body, and so it's mind over body. But I actually think it's actually wisdom over mind, over body, given how I managed to get up here. We usually climb up here, 2 of us together, but this morning at 7:24 this morning, I got a message that my walking buddy has a migraine. And she said, do it, go and do it anyway. And so I've never done it on my own. So I thought, okay, I will prepare myself psychologically to get up by myself, which is, a different thing because we talk ourselves up, we chat all the way up, and so we don't notice the time passing, and we don't notice the difficulty as much because we have company, because we're chatting. So this time I didn't have my walking buddy, so I already had done my preparation. So it's always important that we use our intellect, we use our mind in a good way. So I looked after my body yesterday. I drank enough water. I ate properly yesterday because actually the day before matters. This morning I drank and I ate well, and I had a good sleep last night. So I was physically prepared, right? So psychologically I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to stop. I'm going to see if I can get up the top without stopping. And I'm going to smile at everyone I pass and say good morning to everyone that I pass. And I'm just going to take one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to get to the top. So it normally takes us 1 hour and 50 minutes because we keep stopping and chatting, and we get caught up in our conversation and we forget to start walking again. It took me 1 hour and 18 minutes to get up by myself. I didn't stop. I did have to stop for about 45 seconds at one point. And this is where one of my first lessons of how it's wisdom over mind over matter, because my mind was saying, it's all right, keep going. But I had this cramp building in my calf muscle. So I stopped for about 45 seconds to stretch my calf muscle because my wisdom said, if you don't deal with that, it's going to get worse. So it's more important to deal with that than to stick to this idea that you have to be a hero and not stop at all. So for 45 seconds I stopped and stretched my calf muscle, and it didn't cause me any grief for the rest of the way. So there was the first incident on the trip going up where it was wisdom over mind over body, right? So listening to the body, my wisdom was listening to my body and going, you're not going to make it if you ignore this sign that the body needs something. So the other thing was, I thought, well, I'll have to stop to drink water. But what I noticed, which I haven't noticed before because we've always stopped, was that after each really steep bit, there was actually a flat bit. And so what I did was I would drink my water because I've got this here. It's my, so I can just suck on my water. Now the problem with that is if you're really puffing, your body is trying to get oxygen and you're trying to get water in at the same time, and often that can be a bit problematic when you try and breathe and drink at the same time. And so you need your breathing to come down in order to drink. And so what I did was I would always make sure that whenever I was on a flat bit, I would have a drink. And so there again, I was using my wisdom in order, to keep things going. And one of the things I noticed is when I got to about the 2/3 mark, it's there that there's actually this really steep bit. Now, because we normally stop at all the seats going up that bit, I hadn't realized just how entirely steep it is. It's what I mean by steep is your feet are like back on that kind of angle. you can actually feel the stretch in your calf because your feet are fully flexed walking up. So it's probably, at least a 45-degree, maybe more slope, very steep slope. And it's relentless. It actually keeps going and going and going for quite a while. And it's really tempting because there's seats all the way up. But there were times when it would be not sensible to slow my heart rate down and have some water. But there was no flat patches to do that. And I noticed this old gentleman who was doing much better than me, actually, that when he got to where there is the seating area, there was a little bit of a flat bit, and what he would do is he would do one circuit around the seat and then keep going. And I thought, what a great idea. He's using that flat bit just to give his body a little break. And so it took me about 4 circuits around the seat to get my heart rate down enough to drink enough water for the muscles to calm down and to keep going. And then there were patches where there weren't seats and I could feel that I needed to bring my heart rate down again as well. And so what I did was I'd just go back and forth across the track. Now the track was pretty thin in some places, so I almost got myself a bit dizzy going back and forth because I was going around in circles. But it worked. So I didn't stop, I kept going. And so all the time I'm using my wisdom rather than my intellect to guide me, and so I'm listening to my body. And so I was able to get there. Now there's one point where there's a little cottage and you've got a choice at that point. Sorry about the wind, it's probably making the sound a bit hard. But at that point, you've got a choice of doing the last 400 meters really steep, pretty much steep like the steep patch I just told you about, or you can meander up and it's 1.3 kilometers and you just slowly meander up. So my intellect, my brain's going, go on, be a hero, but my wisdom's saying, this is the beginning of the day because it's still morning here, right? And it's the end of summer here, so it's not exactly cool. It's quite hot. As you can see, I've got a bit of sunburn probably. And as you can see, it's a nice, beautiful blue day out here because it's a beautiful, warm day. So at that point, wisdom said, take the meandering way. This isn't about being a hero. This is about getting to the top without stopping. And it was really interesting that kind of halfway through that 1.3k bit, it was almost like my mind is having a conversation with my wisdom going, yeah, you were right, we're getting pretty tired now, because it was getting a bit hard towards the end. But I made it to the top, and it really was a very interesting psychological process going through that by myself. No one to talk to but myself, having the conversation between my wisdom and my mind going, let's do this, and my wisdom going, no, I don't think that's a good idea. and that's how I got here. And so it really was about listening to my body, listening to my breathing, listening to my heart rate, listening to my muscles, listening to when I needed to drink, when I needed to slow down, and just pacing myself to get here. And it's the fastest trip, and as you can see, I'm not out of breath. I'm actually talking quite well. I've only been up the top here for a little while. In fact, I've been doing my whole cooling down while I've been talking to you. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Sun's in my eyes a little bit, so I'm wincing. So I wanted to share that, and to just say that don't belittle the taking time out and doing things in nature and doing things like going for a walk, because it's these times when we come out of our day-to-day routine that we slow down and notice things and learn things about ourselves, learn things about life. And these moments are really important, and then we can share them with others, what we've noticed, and help others, inshallah. So that's what I wanted to share with you. If you want to learn more about our understanding of psychology from an Islamic perspective, you want to be able to be happy despite everything, be in your wisdom so that you can really appreciate life moment to moment. Just like I did coming up here, it was so much like an analogy of life. You know, there were patches where it was really hard, there was patches where it was quite easy. With difficulty came ease. And it was just a matter of put one foot in front of the other and think, what do I need to do now? And that's exactly how life is. That's exactly the best way to live life. So if you want to learn all about how we encourage people to do that, I'd love to invite you to our masterclass, How to Be Happy Despite Everything. The link here is with the video. It's weareallok.com, and I look forward to perhaps seeing you in there when I run that class live next, inshallah. Otherwise, you can watch the recording. Just give you a little bit of a look at the view here. It's just amazing, you know, subhanallah. So on that note, make sure if you think this video was useful that you share it with others. Make sure you like it, love it, give it lots of love, because then Facebook will share it with others as well. And share with me below, what did you take away from what I said? Was there something useful or interesting or new that you heard that you benefited from? I'd love to hear that. Share it below, inshallah. All right, Assalamu alaikum from the top of Mount Lofty. One last look at the view. I'm going to get up and show you the view. There we go. This is Adelaide down below there. And you can see the sea beyond. And this is the highest mountain. This is the lighthouse, the old lighthouse. It's not in action anymore at the top. So this is the highest mountain in Adelaide. Not very high. If you have a look, it's only 710 meters tall, but it's the highest one we've got to climb. Assalamu alaikum.